Okay, one of the things to talk about here is adhesions. So there's lots and lots of different reasons why you might get some adhesed tissues. We've already highlighted a few of them, one being dehydration, chronic dehydration. That can cause your tissues to start to stick a little bit to each other and not function as well. Other factors are trauma. Okay, so if you get injury to a joint, you're going to inevitably get a lot of scar tissue laying down in that area. And that's going to start locking things up. You're going to start getting a little bit more fuzz, or these microfibers starting to lay down to further try and protect the area. Okay, another cause, posture. So I talk about posture and emotion. You know, if you're really optimistic with life in general, unless you have some type of physiological condition that prevents you from being able to do it, you tend to have more of an upright posture. You're more in this type of stage, versus if you're really depressed and down and you're going to be hunching over a little bit more. Well, whatever your postural tendencies and habits are, they're going to get reinforced. Your body works that way. Your body adapts to whatever you do to it. Okay, so if you're always telling your body to be in a certain position, it will. Okay, so it takes time to get into a poor posture, and it also takes time to rectify that. And you have to be patient with yourself, because everything needs to be re-educated. Not only people, but also the tissues that make up those people. So your muscles, your fascial network, and everything else. Overuse is a third reason why this can happen. Okay, so if you're constantly using the same areas, you're going to start building up adhesions, because maybe some of the tendons are starting to get aggravated and strained, and so now you're getting more scar tissue protecting those areas. Remember, we want our muscles to be gliding. This is ideal. We want to break down any potential sites of adhesion. And as I said, chronic dehydration is a big factor as well. So once again, trauma, posture, overuse, chronic dehydration. These can all lead to, instead of your muscles gliding and functioning happily, starting to stick. And that can be a big problem, because look at what we're potentially suffocating. This is your vein, this is your artery, this is your nerves, this is your lymphatic vessel. And so there's very serious implications. So there's lots of different reasons why you could get tissue adhesion, but the problem is fundamentally the same. You're compromising functionality of all these things. So your cells, they like to be able to breathe properly. They like to be able to function properly. They get their oxygen and nutrients through the arteries, okay, from the blood. The blood is what delivers this beautiful feast on a silver platter for your cell to use and to nourish itself. And so if now you've got some adhesions and it's getting harder for the cell to access that food, it's now, instead of getting a full main course, it's only getting an appetizer. And it's still hungry. It's trying to really nourish itself, and it's going to have to try and perform the best it can. You see, every cell in your body has to be within 4 cells of its blood supply in order to be able to be properly nourished. And sometimes excessive adhesions can limit its ability to be nourished properly, and that will affect its overall ability to function. Other factor at play, your veins. Okay, the vein is what takes away some of the waste, some of that carbon dioxide after that exchange takes place. And veins are not as muscular as arteries, so they're more easily collapsed. And so now it's harder to remove some of the waste that are being accumulated. And the other big player in removing cellular waste, also known as metabolic waste, plasma proteins, extracellular fluid, all fancy ways of saying cellular poop. So that is the lymphatic system's job. That is what removes the cellular poop. But if there's, again, too many adhesions in the area, then it's not able to effectively eliminate that stuff. And then we've got the nerves. Okay, the nerves, this is a kind of a two-pronged issue here if they're caught up in these adhesions. One is that the impulses won't be as effective. So think about being in a living room and your pet hippo happens to be coming across and accidentally steps onto, or deliberately steps onto, your Wi-Fi cable. Not even Wi-Fi, it's a direct line because it is cable. And by putting pressure down on this cable to your TV, let's say, it's going to start interrupting the reception on your TV. It's going to start interrupting the signal. And that's what happens in your body. If you have too many adhesions in an area, this is a common one up here with pec minor, and then you've got 5 nerves that go down into your upper extremity. Some of them start to get caught up and tighten. Now the impulses aren't as effective. So now because the impulses aren't as effective, you might have the muscle mass, enough strength there to be able to achieve certain tasks, but if the impulses aren't strong enough, you're not going to be able to sustain that intensity for very long. And that's actually one of the reasons why initially when you go for a therapeutic massage, for instance, it tends to hurt a lot if you're initially breaking down adhesions. Because think about it, when you get adhesions like this, everything is stuck. So the first time you start creating mobility through those areas, look what's happening to that little nerve. Ah, I'm getting pulled, no! Yeah, it's gonna hurt, okay? But the more you create mobility through the area, the more you decrease the adhesions, the less and less it's gonna hurt as a result, okay? And then you're optimizing function at that point. So that is the goal, is to stay well hydrated, try and limit overuse, and restore ourselves to a nice, smooth glidability. Because your cells are like you. They want to be able to take deep breaths. They want to be able to be well nourished in order to function at 100% capacity. So really, really important to keep the body moving, keep those adhesions broken down, and I highly recommend you refer to a YouTube video by Gil Headley called The Fuzz Speech. He will shed great insight on what exactly is happening with some of these adhesions.